Paddy's Podcast, WATP.
I talked about this on our bonus show with Dick Masterson, but I don't know if everyone's aware of this. Patrick Michael has rebranded yet again. He has a new show called Mouth Like War. And a new episode just dropped yesterday. Your Favorite Edutainer is the name of it. And Mouth Like War is a show that has the worst name as usual, because when you Google it, there's Mouth for War by Pantera.
Yeah.
There's a band called Mouth for War, and that's all that comes up. Google just thinks you're stupid. Like, we got you. It's mouth. You're looking for Mouth for War. Gotcha. So Mouth Like War, I can't find. I found it because it's on his Patreon, and I'm a member of his Patreon. But if you look for this podcast, you can't find it. I have advanced Googling skills, and I cannot find it anywhere in the wild. Doesn't exist. And he starts off by complaining about the amount of interaction he's getting with this new podcast he's dropping.
Yeah, welcome back, or welcome to Mouth Like War. That's right. That's the podcast you've stumbled across, or you've been a fan of, sort of, from a distance for a while. And I'm glad to have you. How are you? How are you doing? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm getting no interactions, folks. All right? I'm getting no interactions, not even on fucking Patreon. It's insane.
This guy's been complaining about people commenting on his shit for years. We've documented it. And now he's angry that no one's interacting with him. You can't win with this guy.
I've made it so you can't find it.
Yep.
In the easiest way, a free way possible. You can't find it for free, but nobody's paying for it either. And I'm mad about that as well.
Yeah. Non-White Dabbler writes, the TDS WHP crossover is the only result. Yeah, I looked for it again today just to be like, maybe the algorithms found this thing or the servers have picked up on it. And it's like, if you put in Mouth Like War podcast, the only thing that shows up is our crossover episode where we introduce that to people. And so he's complaining people are not interacting with him. He can't believe it. And he's going to get off that pretty quickly and get into the topics. But first,
I thought you guys wanted the interactions. I thought we were all about the interactions. But it doesn't matter. We're here either way. And
Who's we?
let's start with some easy stuff, folks. What happened recently? That's right. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Because who cares, you know? Because truly, who cares?
it's always good to start off your topics with stuff you don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
All right, first topic is something I really just despise.
I don't care about this, and nobody else is talking about it. So let's.
Right, yeah. Anyone who cares about it, there's probably a place they could go to find out. But he's immediately, I don't care. So he's learned nothing. This rebranding, I should point out, part of the rebranding, I listened to the first episode with Dick, and he's no longer going by his monikers. He's done with Paddy Pukewater, Paddy C Cups, Paddy Brokenskull. Sheamus McKillian even says, he's like, all those were characters I was trying to play. I'm done doing that now. He's an authentic self.
Yeah.
This is the real Pat Michael that we're listening to now.
Pat.
Prisoner 672CA. Yeah.
Yes. And he's been doing something this week, and I've actually checked in on it a couple times because, like I said, I'm on his Patreon, so I get the emails. He's been going live on YouTube and doing these broadcasts, and nobody's there. I've clicked into it a couple of times, and it's just watching him listen to music. And you're like, I was in the chat going, do something. Are you gonna do something, or what's going on? There's 5 of us, and then there's 7 of us, and then there's 2 of us, and then there's 3 of us. I mean, I'm watching this. It's going, Pedro, you got to do something.
At least Corn Diff is 3D printing something.
Yes, it's something. Pedro just sits there and listens to music. There's just nothing.
This is a hot playlist, everybody. Check this out. The band you've never heard of.
Yeah. So he got a video that he didn't promote. I didn't know about this, but apparently it got him a ton of live viewers just this week.
The only lives that I actually share with anybody are the lives that no one's coming to. Okay? If it's 1 or 2 people, I rarely stay on, or I'm going to post the link somewhere. And crazy enough,
That's
most
right,
of the
draws the
time,
line.
after I post the link on Patreon and Twitter and all this shit and Instagram, I usually end up starting a brand new stream right after that for some reason. And that's when I get all my views. People start popping in. And what was so crazy about the time that I got the 1,200 whatever, right, was nobody was even saying anything. Like, there was maybe 3 people that had typed in that chat. That's it. I'm like, what the fuck?
He is claiming he had over 1,200 live viewers and there was 0 interaction. So somebody just decided to buy bots. Someone decided to buy views to fuck with them. And he thinks he's figured out this winning formula. He'll tell you what he was doing to get all these viewers.
All these people come in here to just watch me play Fortnite behind the screen. Like, the intention is, of course, to share the music, but damn, that many people popped in, said nothing.
So this is going to fuck with him for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to want to recreate, like, how did I get 1,200 people watching me play Fortnite? And I was just playing my Screamo songs in the background, and people were like all watching it. They were in awe. They couldn't even type on their keyboards.
Right.
They were so blown away what was going on.
dumbfounded, yeah.
Yeah, they're paralyzed. Wow.
Captivated.
Captivated with this content that he was putting out. Not understanding that those were all fake viewers. There's no way you get 1,200. You don't go from 7 to 1,200. That's not
And then
the
back
way-
to 7.
That's not the way growth works at all. So someone was fucking with him. That's too bad. And he does, though, latch on to things that work. We're going to get into that in a second. He does have a video about Red Bar that's 12,000 views on YouTube. And so he's trying to constantly recreate that. But first, he has this brilliant idea because he's been putting out these podcast episodes, and they're all very similar. He plays some of the Screamo stuff. He talks about how he doesn't care about podcasting. He doesn't really have a lot to talk about. He complains about me. It's all the same kind of topics over and over again. So he's like, hey, I got an idea that would save me some time, work harder, not smart, or work smarter, not harder.
I was just thinking about how funny it would be if you just start releasing the same episode over and over again. Right? You retitle it, you give a little bit of a different description, but essentially it is the exact same episode you just released.
Is he doing that and I don't realize it? Is it possible that I'm falling for this shit? Just like, well, he's got a new episode. Hey, check this out, guys.
That's what John does. He's just screaming shitware into a microphone every episode.
It's the same shit.
2 hours.
Yes. Although John's getting interesting again because now that he has a day job, he's drinking on his stream again. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to presenting what John's up to. So Patrick's like, yeah, maybe I should just put out the same episode every week with a different title and like maybe a couple changes.
I wonder how long you could do that before somebody actually noticed.
Probably months. If I'm being honest. Do you think anyone would be like, I've heard this one before, Patrick. You're not fooling me.
I only say that because it's like, I'm not keeping track of, the songs I'm sharing with you guys or even really the things I'm talking about.
And no one is.
So when I come in here with a new episode, it's very rare that I even actually have anything new. I'm just like, I don't know. Here's a song I think you haven't heard, probably. I have no idea. Because we also don't converse. So, like I said, there's zero activity.
No one's responding to what he's putting out. He's like, I just launched this new thing. I'm not getting any feedback. Does it even matter? It's just a rerun of Pukewater, the show you did before this. All of this stuff is the same show over and over again with a different graphic, different title on it. That's probably why.
This is the definition of insanity.
Yes.
You're like changing nothing, getting the same results, and wondering why nothing is working out. It's the diary of a madman.
He blocks me from shit. I'm blocked. My main Patreon account is blocked, as I had to sign up with a different Patreon account to even get this stuff. And then I clicked on a link to go to YouTube, and I was blocked. I'm like, he's blocking on YouTube too? Like, he wants interaction and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not there interacting with people all the time, but if you want it, don't block people.
Yeah.
It's rule number one.
Nobody's even commenting, but when they do, they tell me I'm gay and I suck and I yell at them and block.
Yeah, and I block too much.
Okay, so getting into his YouTube strategy, he's really into this lately. Outside of his Screamo vocals, which is his main thing, he's making this Comedy Capone channel. He's building up. He's making it harder and harder to find, unfortunately. But this Comedy Capone video, he has this strategy because of the Crystalia problem video that was made by someone else who's very talented to put together a great documentary. He's taking every comedian's name and just saying the blank problem. So the Joe Rogan problem is one he just recently put out. He thinks that's the way to figure out the algorithm.
Right.
Everyone likes it when it's a something or other problem. So that's why I'll get all the views. And so he came up with this idea. He's like, Brendan Schaub. People like to tease Brendan Schaub for sucking. What if I was on there saying Brendan Schaub's great?
What if I put out a video where I praise Brendan Schaub?
Whoa.
Okay? I put out a video purposefully saying how good this guy is, how important he is, how much better than everybody who talks shit about him he is, and see if that'll help, if that'll translate, I guess.
Now, the reason why he thought of this is because Red Bar doesn't really have a lot of detractors online. And he put out a video that was making fun of Red Bar, and that worked. So he's like, okay, so if I just go against the grain, here's this niche that no one else is doing. Now, I do want to point out that Blind Mike wears a thick boy hat, so he already thought of this. He beat you to the punch, but that's fine. I mean, he'd be more than one person who pretends they like Brendan Schaub. It's funny. I get it. But the Red Bar problem is 12,000 views. And he wasn't talking about this on his show, but I just looked it up. He created a video a couple of weeks ago called The Red Bar Problem 2. That one has 229 views, so didn't really work. Oh, the new...
Yeah. Hey, guys, Caddyshack 2. Check it out.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't always work that way. The new channel is called Bobby Serious, but then it's got another name too. But I looked up, so he already dropped this idea he had for the Brendan Schaub problem. So I looked it up and I want to share that with you. This idea that he's talking about on his podcast. He probably pre-recorded the podcast. And then he's like, yeah, I am going to do that actually. See how it looks.
Crazy. But as far as I'm concerned, names like Rogan and Schaub are synonymous. Sure, the T-Fat-K numbers are dropping, but Rogan and Schaub are mentioned together in the same sentence more often than Laurel and Hardy. They are so similar, Rogan literally stole jokes from Schaub's Gringo Poppy special, which proves Schaub's comedy ability is at least as good as Rogan's. Therefore, the fact that Brendan quit stand-up comedy only benefits other comedians. Now they have an actual chance to be successful. Whether or not Schaub was loved for what he does, his name is more recognizable than most of his peers. I mean, nobody knows who Greg Stone is, and he's always hilarious. Sure, Brendan has stole jokes, said words incorrectly, crashed his truck, had some shady messages leaked, lost some UFC fights, and had a lawsuit, amongst some other shit. But worst of all is he actually took Rogan's advice. Aside from that, he accidentally created an entire community for dorks to hang out in and share their collective hate for him. And he still shits on all of you, in every way. He's taller, he's in better shape, he has better charisma, a better hairline, much better cars, a better family, and he's a better athlete. I mean, what did you do? Get an A+ in English class as a sophomore? Congratulations.
So this is his strategy, and we all see what you're doing. And he even pointed out, like, hey guys, look at what I'm doing. I'm pretending I like this guy who sucks. Like, yep, no, we all see that. It's not that great. But I just, one more part from this that I wanted to play just to give you an idea of what he's up to. And a lot of work with the editing and stuff. I give him credit.
Yeah.
When he writes these, he writes out a script. He records them well. Audio's good. Video's semi-interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there. It's more so than anything else he's ever done.
Oh, the cadence, and there's some intelligence behind it that is surprising.
Correct. Of course, he has to go right back to the, what did you ever do? Get an A in English class or sophomore year?
That's how I can tell it's him.
It always goes back to high school with him. You're just like, no one else is thinking that.
Yeah.
We're all adults.
And seemingly people would want to be in the comments going, wait, what are you talking about? Obviously,
That's what he's looking for. He's looking for interaction to be like, oh, you think Brendan Schaub's funny? So he can be like, I gotcha. You're blocked. Here's some more.
You're not. Brendan won't say it, but I will. You're all leeches. And those same leeches will be in my comments after watching this video because they were hoping there was some spicy Schaub gossip like some 16-year-old girls. Get a life. You all copy each other's content. You all have the same takes, the same basic jokes, sometimes with a British accent, but not one of you raised your hand in class or offered to speak first because you knew you shouldn't speak out loud at all. You can thank the internet for your false sense of confidence, you damn hermits.
So you can see right there, he wants interaction so bad now.
Yeah, he got out in front of it a little too far.
Correct. Like, oh, I know what you guys are going to say in my comment section. Like, well, as soon as you say that, it's not what you're going to get at all. So this is him back to his podcast explaining what his strategy is here.
That's what Capone is. It's a channel where I'm saying, hey, all of you dummies that waste all of this time caring about these fucking comedians' lives, look how foolish it looks. You guys look as dumb as Capone does. It's just goofy nonsense. Why are you wasting your time with it? So when I put out a video and people comment, and the two people that commented, I replied instantly.
Of course you did.
The one guy was like, oh, you're like 6 months too late, Bappa. And the other guy said something about, what did he say? Something very similar. And more to the point of like me hating on Schaub. And I was like, yeah, I literally dismissed what they said. And was like, yeah, this is the only positive video I've ever seen made of Brendan on YouTube.
Yeah, so here are the comments right here. Brendan still has haters, B. This is really old and ridiculous at this point. And, you know, it's basically just like, yeah, you're like a little too late to this thing. I know, this is the only positive video about Schaub. Yeah, he's still saying that it's not great. And then you are the problem. And he responds to this, good, with a kissy face. And the response to that is, okay, Brendan. So he's getting a lot of great heat from this. This is what he was hoping for. This was his strategy all along. It's all working for him now. I'm happy for him. He's getting some comments. 2 or 3. I like when he goes, I responded immediately. Like, yeah, I know. That's what you do. You can't wait. As soon as the notification comes in, you're right there ready to respond. Now, this is my favorite clip. This really brings it all home. Because this is classic Patrick Michael, where he's calling people out. He's calling the people out for not being good at podcasting, and then proves that he might not be great himself.
You might not like how I sound. You might not like me, but by God, I say most words correctly. Okay? So when I hear these motherfuckers like talking like Schaub, you're kind of like, you know, the pot calling the kettle black or whatever the saying is. It's like, you are just as dumb as him. You're just a little bit upset that you couldn't fucking profitize it. Is that a word? Shit.
Exactly. You idiots. You just can't profitize. Fuck. It just ruined my entire point. God damn it.
That's all stays in.
Good job, Patrick. That's why we love you, buddy. That's the kind of stuff we want in your show. Now, one more clip I have on here, because I was listening further onto the program, and he takes a shot at someone that I'm not happy with. I have a problem with this.
Because I put out a video very early about this Necro Goblicon, John Goblicon Right Now podcast, talking about how great it was, how fun it was, how refreshing it was to the comedy podcast world. And as I've watched the last like 3 fucking episodes, dude, I'm kinda hating it. Kinda hating it, kinda despising watching it.
So he even called out, they had Fred Durst on, but Fred Durst was pretending to be someone else named Gary.
Yeah.
And I started watching. It was great. It was very funny. John Goblicon rules.
Who are these podcasts?